You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 206. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnard, otherwise known as Corporal Punishment of the Army of Crime. And you'll see what that's all about in a little bit.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by The Outhousers. You can find our show, plus many articles about comic books and comic book news, at theouthousers.com. Wow, I kind of blew that intro, but screw it.
No, it's par for the course, isn't it?
Oh, thanks, Jeff. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher. Damn it.
Oh, well. Okay.
You know, I have a whole bunch of files of just screwed up intros.
Do you?
I should make a CD of them at some point.
Okay.
That'll be for the 5-year anniversary show. We'll save that. This one,
to your worst enemies.
Yeah, right. But that's a flub. I'm just I'm just gonna save it. We'll just go with it. So the first comic we're going to talk about today is World's Finest number 278. It's the April of 1982 issue. Hey, this came out cover dated, so it actually hit the stands a couple months earlier. Mm-hmm. But that's the month I was born.
Wow, man, he was young.
Yeah, I can't believe. Yeah, the comic is from 33 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the lead story is called Assault on Thanagar, written by Bob Rozakis, with art penciled by Rich Buckler and inked by Pablo Marcos. Bob Rozakis is one of the young writers that came up in the 70s and the 80s who had been a frequent letter writer to the comics. You see a lot of that. The early 70s, people who were really into the fandom and writing the letters wait 5 years because they're working in comics.
I wonder if that still occurs.
It might, although now things have changed because the letter column is kind of a thing that's sort of not as present,
mm-hmm.
and it's more online forms. The shape of fandom has shifted.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, but it would be harder to track it. Here we have here's a historical document.
Mm-hmm.
So and so wrote a letter, and we know years later they wrote comics. So,
mm-hmm.
But anyway,
that's fascinating. I wonder if that helped them get the job.
It's possible. I mean, they're building a relationship of correspondence,
mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee you, for every letter they get published, they probably have several that doesn't.
Oh, probably 100.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Per person, think about that.
Oh no, I'm talking about for every letter published. It's only.
No, I meant
not published.
Fanboy A.
Yeah. Okay.
Writes a letter. If he writes a letter every month to his favorite comic.
Mm-hmm.
He might get them,
right.
A few times a year, a letter,
mm-hmm.
Published, maybe. But he's probably also writing directly to the creative people as well,
mm-hmm.
and meeting them at the budding con
mm-hmm.
circuit and stuff like that. So, but anyway, this story has Superman, Batman, and Hawkman, as if the title didn't give that away.
All right. Yeah. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. And a very angry bird at that, leading an assault on Thanagar.
I think I mentioned that.
I know, but I was reading the...
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hawkman just comes out swinging. He's fighting these guys. What's the story?
Thanagar is taken over by this Dane, and Hawkman is going in direct approach. And let's see... But actually, it's not Hawkman, it's Superman disguised as Hawkman.
Weird.
Just kind of cool. Actually, I was surprised. I'm not often surprised, especially DC comics.
Oh, okay.
That's fairly clever strategy.
Sure. And so...
you go back
to the Justice League satellite, which is located 33,000 or 22,300 miles above the Earth.
Okay. Hawkman comes to the satellite. This is foreshadowing. Or no, not foreshadowing. It's...
It came before this.
Yes. I don't know.
A flashback?
Flashback, yes. Thank you.
We're real professional on this show.
Right. Superman, Batman's up there, and Hawkman asks him to help save Thanagar. So they say, okay. So they get this stratagem. Superman goes in the front way and gets shot at and pretends to be Hawkman. His costume comes off and it's Superman. Batman is put into a satellite that Superman brings down to the ground.
Uh-huh.
And he sneaks in to tunnels and all that. Let's see. Superman's still fighting. He gets zapped by something that makes him super heavy, so he can't fly, and his strength is not as good. But he
Yeah.
can still use his breath and his heat beam and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
heat vision. I think.
Yeah. What's the name of this villainess? She is one of. She's a major Hawkman villain, actually. I just don't remember her name.
I can't remember. So
I can't either.
Yeah, okay. That's some dame. But she's
Wow.
got these hair. What kind of hair? It looks like feathers.
Yeah. Yeah, weird.
Hyanthus.
Yeah, that's right. Hyanthus. But anyway.
So Hawkman has this thing, has this device that if he, something like a gong or something, if he hits it, everybody's going to freeze forever, I think.
Oh.
So.
Oh, right. And that, it was a weapon that Kanjuro was going to use on Thanagar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so everybody would be paralyzed, and that'll be it.
Well, that sounds lame.
Yeah.
But it would be better than being ruled under the iron heel of Hyanthus.
Yeah.
That's why he's willing to do it. But Hawk Girl shows up, or
Yeah.
Hawk Woman,
Shayera.
Shayera.
Excuse me, yeah. And she begs him not to not do this, and he just punches her one.
Wow,
and
does
knocks her flying.
Wow, that's stuff. I think at this point also Hawkman and Shayera are not. They're separated.
Mm-hmm.
They are married, but they're separated right now.
Okay. Oh, that explained the fighting then.
Yeah.
So
Maybe on Thanagar it's perfectly okay to hit a woman. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, okay. That's the deal, and then we come and we'll look at this in the Marvel comics. Female villains, they're super powered.
Yeah.
Is it okay to hit them? I would say yes, if they're villainous.
yeah. I mean, it's better to just why don't we just send She-Hulk to fight Titania? But
But
if
sometimes you can't.
well, right, and I think Spider-Man's been in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember him having to slug her and hating it because he's a good guy.
Right, and I'm not saying yay hitting girls is a good thing. I'm saying though that in this circumstance,
Yeah,
although this circumstance is she's trying to stop him from doing something evil,
and it's his wife.
right?
You would
And-
think he would have a bit more tenderness and regard for her, more deference.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tense situation. And again, I don't know the customs of Thanagar. That may not be a thing. Of course hit a girl. She hits you.
Mm-hmm. But if it was for Superman to say hit Lois Lane, who is not superpowered, that's beyond the pale.
Well, yeah, and he would knock her block off.
But for Superman to hit Wonder Woman is a different matter.
Yeah. I think he'd still, because he's Superman, he still wouldn't want to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
So, but
I think he would.
Hulk Girl does have superpowers, so it's not as bad as if it was just a regular person.
Okay.
Although, is it fair for to hit a guy who's a non-super guy? Superman always pulls his punches, but
Right. And that's a good point. Okay, yeah, they're bad guys, but you have superpowers. You could cripple them
mm-hmm.
or kill them.
Yeah,
This is an interesting dance we're doing right now.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take it further.
Oh,
What if they're a little kid, an evil kid with superpowers?
well,
Has that ever been done?
I'm sure
I know Franklin had superpowers.
Franklin. Oh, Franklin Richards.
Mhm.
Yeah. But if let's say Franklin was malevolent and evil,
Mm-hmm.
someone would do the neck snap.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
real hard. But I think, yeah,
All right. Let's
the
say.
power of life and death over another
Mhm.
should never be a decision to be made lightly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point here.
Right. That Twilight Zone with the kid who has.
In the cornfield, puts people in the cornfield.
Yeah.
He has the incredible psychic powers. Yeah, if somebody broke his neck, they would be doing the world a favor.
Yeah. And I wouldn't. I don't know. Would I lose any sleep over that if I did it?
Like if in that episode, like somebody snuck up behind him and broke his neck.
Yeah. Yay.
Probably.
Yeah. You know. It's. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That is maybe the best episode of that show. It's definitely among them.
Yeah. That's some. Yeah. A lot of times, Twilight Zone is kind of hokey. You can see it coming a mile away and a little preachy.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and oftentimes, it's gold. That's
Yeah.
one of them. That is just a nightmarish thing.
Yeah, and Billy Mooney was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
what's going on with Hawkman and Batman?
Batman is captured in this freeze ray, and he's got to figure out how to get away, find a way to disable it. And it's pretty clever. I'm not going to go into it because I really don't understand it myself. So,
Okay.
Hawkeye tells Hawkgirl to, hey, I'm not really doing this thing.
Right.
So she's on his side. Superman's fighting, and Hawkeye kills, no, not kill, beats up Hyacinth. Is that her name? Hyacinth? Yeah. Okay. Isn't that from that British TV show, The Bouquets?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I know it's a flower.
Yeah.
But
okay. All right, so they beat her up, and she gets knocked out. The situation's solved. So,
okay.
you did notice that they let the girl beat up the girl here. So
Yes.
yeah.
Let the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's what they did.
So anyway, there are several backup stories in here, and let's get into them. This first one's got Green Arrow
yeah.
in The Archer and the Assassin.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. This was written by Mike W. Barr, penciled by Trevor Von Eden, and inked by Larry Malstead. Now, Mike W. Barr made a big splash in the 80s as a comics writer, and Trevor Von Eden as an artist, and Larry Malstead was working with Keith Giffen on the Legion of Superheroes in the 80s. And so, great team here.
Yeah. Great.
The splash panel is great. And Green Arrow is falling to his maybe death, and the arrows are falling out of his quiver. Now, something I want to note about that. In one of our most recent episodes, we had some Green Arrow backups, and they made a point to say in his quiver there were little magnets at the bottom to keep the arrows from falling out if he flips upside down.
Yeah, that probably works most of the time. This is a comic book.
It's a case of somebody forgot.
Or here's an explanation. He's violently jolted, and even that will turn off a. It's got it.
Okay.
It can't be that powerful that it's really difficult to bring up the arrow. And he needs.
Well, right. So I get you. That's a pretty good
most of the
explanation.
arrows are still there, and he's upside down. So
yeah.
All right. So he's falling down. Okay. So we have a little flashback as he's falling. Cool. His face when he's falling, he's thinking back, and I'd be thinking about falling, not about what happened.
Right. But it's a great panel. It's very dramatic, and we get the setup, and it's good.
Mm-hmm. I love the way they white out his eyes and teeth, and then he's screaming. He's upside down. It's really cool. Yeah. And his hair is red here. It's kind of neat.
Well, yeah, they've gone with that tone to, I don't know, reasons.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah. And it just looks cool. So.
It does.
All right. Oliver, Green Arrow knows about this drug shipment, and he said, the police want to know where he got this information. And he says, I got it from Oliver Queen, the newspaper guy. And the police put Oliver Queen in the jail because he won't tell who his
Sources.
yeah. And the guy, the big kingpin, there, not the kingpin,
Right,
but
right.
a kingpin, is killed with one of his arrows.
Uh-oh.
And I love the way they do the gutters here. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, it's very creative panel layout. It's nice.
mhm.
Very angular. It kind of helps give a sense of movement.
Mhm.
It's very good.
Yeah. So Green Arrow is hurtling down. He takes his bow and he snaps it in half, and he uses it to catch a flagpole and catch himself.
Yeah.
And
then he swings through a window, breaks it, of course.
mhm. Okay, so they let him out of prison, but I think he's going to trial because they think Green Arrow killed that boss.
They
guy.
let Oliver Queen out.
Yeah, that's right. They don't know that Oliver Queen is Green Arrow.
Right.
Although,
how many people have that beard?
Right.
Nobody.
He could have changed the color of it or something.
Yeah, or if the beard was something he put on with spirit gum when he's in Green Arrow mode.
Yeah, or something, or added a beard, or full beard, or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's comics.
I'm trying to think if there's any real world equivalent of that.
To that beard?
No, to someone hiding like that. Maybe Marilyn Monroe said that she could walk down the street and she could and no one would notice her, and then she would just turn on the charm and everybody would be there.
Oh, right.
And someone said they saw her do that, and it's kind of interesting. So,
Weird.
I'm not sure what she does, but
Or did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we meet this little old lady that is
She's a widow, right?
right of a policeman,
Oh.
and she is his stoolie, and that's why he is protecting her so much.
Right. Okay. But things.
Yeah. Okay, so who is Dinah? I don't know her.
Dinah Lance.
Yeah.
That's Black Canary.
Is that her name? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I keep it. Okay.
Now, Black Canary, when she's in costume, puts on a blonde wig.
Right.
And Dinah has black hair.
All right. Okay, I get mixed with Diana Prince. So okay. Black Canary is here, but she's never here. So she's already just Dinah.
Well,
here
this
in
is
this issue.
Yeah, this is Green Arrow's story, not a Black Canary story. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think she offers to help him, and he says, "No, I got to do this alone," because he's a macho guy.
Yeah. I guess I'm not macho because I ask directions. If I get lost, and you know how to do this, man? 'Cause I'd rather have somebody do it in 5 minutes, make me look stupid, than to spend an hour trying to do something.
Right. I mean, or like, whatever will solve the problem fastest.
Yeah.
If that means asking for directions or help,
Yeah.
where available, I will seek it.
Right.
But it's something I think a lot of guys have to learn to let go and just do, because you're like, okay, I don't want to spend my whole day trying to solve a problem that somebody else can help with.
Yeah, and solve in a minute, and
Yeah.
and I'll be grateful to him, and
Yeah. Or frankly, if it's an area I just don't know anything about, well, what am I going to do? I have to solve the problem, so you need to phone a friend or reach out,
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Okay, but that's kind of silly. But she helps him anyway by giving him a clue about, because the bad guy was killed with one of his arrows. So,
Yeah.
of course, it's got to be Green Arrow who shot him. Maybe. So.
Green Arrow leaps into action. Da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Great panel.
Yeah,
And
it
leaving their
is.
apartment. That's awesome.
So it goes back to Snitch, and a bunch the cops are there, and the bad guys are there, and there's a big fight, and Green Arrow shoots his arrows of gas, and they already have gas masks on, which
Right.
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So what he does is has these things of itching powder,
Oh,
and that really works. And, Dinah laughed at that, but this will teach her. So he goes to the snitch and says, "You killed him, didn't you?" Because the arrow, which I did not notice this at first, was missing one of the fletchers.
yeah.
So the bad guy had a green arrow lying around, and she just shoved it into his chest.
Yeah.
Which,
Because this guy had something to do with her husband's death, right?
he was going to burn down some homes.
Right.
I don't know if he had anything to do with her husband.
Maybe that's not connected. But yeah, he was a slumlord, and yeah. But yeah, Green Arrow solves the case, but he feels lousy about it because it was a sweet old lady.
Mm-hmm. And the cops say, "Oh, sorry, guy." So
yeah, good story though.
not bad. Okay.
So let's talk about this next one. Hang on, okay. It's called Dog Day Afternoon, a film by Sam Peckinpah. No, but it's Zatanna.
Is it Sam Peckinpah?
I think. Phone it. Look it up on your phone real quick while I give the credits. Come on. But anyway, this is a Zatanna story. Dog Day Afternoon, written by Paul Kupperberg, with art by Dan Spiegel. And Dan Spiegel worked on, he did Tarzan, and I think he did some Magnus Robot Fighter. So, if I'm remembering correctly.
Sidney Lumet.
Sidney Lumet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the original, not the remake of recent times.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
It's been remade.
Yes. So make sure that's what you just looked up.
No, but Sidney Lumet has got a picture of what's his face?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Okay, then Sidney Lumet, whoever that is.
He's famous. You'll recognize his name.
Oh, okay. When I look up his filmography.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
All right. Zatanna is with this guy Jeff, who.
He's her.
He's the name Jeff. That really takes me up.
Now Zatanna.
Yeah.
She's a superheroine, but she's also a stage magician, and Jeff is her manager.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a strong independent woman who manages her own career.
Oh, actually, any entertainer.
I know,
yeah.
but
okay.
Because she's working on the act and superheroine. But this guy, he's got the '70s leisure suit,
the mustache, the hair.
Yeah. But he seems like a nice guy.
He's just a goofball and an embarrassment to the name Jeff.
Oh man.
I'm writing a letter. I was reading this book that was made 1978, and I am mad. How dare you? Yeah. I wonder if anyone ever does that.
I don't know. Write letters about something from 30 years ago. This is.
We ought to do that just for fun.
And be like, yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I blame you. I'm coming down there. All right. This little girl lost her dog. She's running in the traffic and almost get hit. And Zatanna says backward words and saves the kid.
Yeah.
And she tells him that some dog nappers stole her dog.
Tuffy.
Yeah. And she sees the dog nappers, and they look like 70s villains. And she chases them, and she loses them.
So it's like an episode of Benji, only with Zatanna.
Yeah. They almost. She does. She makes the streets. Yeah, it was a cute movie. She makes the street slick, and the car spins around and comes right back at her.
Oh man,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so one of them dropped a ticket from the dog show. Oh, they're taking the dog, which is a mutt, to the dog show.
Yeah.
Little girl says, "I tried to take my dog to the dog show, and they wouldn't let me in because he's a mutt." Yeah, they don't like mutts at dog shows.
Yeah, but stuff. Things.
Yeah. So they go to the dog show, they check things out. Jeff sees the bad guys blow drying this dog, which they just dyed his hair.
Yeah.
They see Jeff and they beat him up.
Yeah.
Which means he's not no true Jeff would be so beaten up so easily. But
You really can't let this go, can you?
no, I cannot.
Why?
I don't know. We'll come to the next neck.
All right.
I'm being silly, as usual. So Zatanna sees Jeff being carted away, and she puts a ring of fire around him and beats him up. And a bunch of dogs escape, and they bite the bad guys. So the entire plot was they lost their dog. Went in, was having puppies, so they needed another dog. So they painted Tuffy, which is the stupidest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and the judge sees Tuffy and says, "Oh, this will be a great dog, and he'll win the show." And they say, "Oh, is this my dog painted?" And that's the world's worst judge. I mean, I think I can tell a mutt, and it's just stupid. And somebody doesn't know anything about dog shows.
Really?
Yeah. Ooh, Swamp Thing is back in house ad.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't really call them in-house ads. They just call them house ads.
Oh, okay.
But yes, they were reviving for him for a second series because the movie was coming out around this time. I think.
I don't know. The movie was good. The second movie was deliciously bad.
I thought the second movie is the one to see.
I thought it was loads of... Look, Swamp Thing is kicking butt.
Yeah, those kids.
Yeah,
they were great. Well, and the first one is like Swamp Thing just doesn't look good in the movie in the first one, and neither does Doctor. I think it's Dr. Arcane or somebody turns into a monster also, and it looks ridiculous. Like it's super bad. But in the Return of Swamp Thing, I'm like, oh, they got the look down, and the monsters looked awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean. And the Return of Swamp Thing was my introduction to the song Born on the Bayou by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Because the opening, the credits scene is that song is playing, and they've got a montage of Swamp Thing comics. And that's the intro to the movie. And I have loved that song ever since.
I've heard the song before then, but I do love my Creedence.
Yeah.
Okay, Shazam!
Yeah, we got the Marvel family in a backup series, and it's interesting because I think they kind of rotate who is the focus of each story. This one's really more about Mary Marvel. Another one we're going to look at today is more about Captain Marvel Jr. But Captain Marvel is in them, so yay! Yes, and this story is called "The Power of Darkness," written by E. Nelson Bridwell, penciled by Don Newton, and inked by Frank Chiaramonte. And Don Newton, he died kind of young. And there's kind of a cult about him, and I've mentioned it before. But people really look fondly on his Shazam stories, his Batman work, and his work on The Phantom at Charlton. So.
All right. Okay,
they're all beautiful works, so.
Yeah. All right. We see this young lady, and she's the beautiful librarian type. And the bun with glasses. And she's.
We've all seen the Hot for Teacher video.
Yeah, the Hollywood. All they have to do is take off their glasses and let their hair down. Although I like the librarian look.
Sure. But except for the updos, I can't do it.
Updos?
With the hair up.
Oh,
that's an expression or a thing now.
Really?
I just don't like them. I like the hair loose and flowing.
I like them always. So.
Okay.
But she wants power, so she asks Satan. God Almighty. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, there's no backstory to her. Hey, I'm this frumpy-looking girl, and I want power, and that's it. That's all we know about her.
Well, in an 8-page story,
right? She looks like a librarian.
You just need to get to it.
I work in a library. I know the stereotypes. So. Actually, I don't know if I know anybody who dressed like a librarian ever. I've been in libraries about 25 years. I've never seen the classic library.
Well, it's probably an anachronism now. Yeah. It's just like anytime you see a paperboy in a newsie in the
Yeah.
movies now,
Oh,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
anyway,
all right, so Satan gives her power, but she has to kill the Marvels.
okay, and of course the Marvel family being Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel Jr., and Mary Marvel.
Yeah, look at Satan. That looks cool. That is very nicely drawn. Um,
Yeah.
Dark Lord.
So the power that he gives her is to like create this like enveloping darkness,
Hmm.
and the trick is she goes to the Marvels in their mortal forms of
Hmm.
Billy
Yeah.
Batson, Freddie Freeman, and
Oh, and
Mary
now
Batson.
she's really beautiful too.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Platinum blonde, very nice. But anyway, she goes to them and she wants to kill them in their mortal form. Ah ha ha ha.
Hmm.
But the trick is she creates this in this darkness, and when they call upon the name of the wizard, or in Freddy's case of his hero Captain Marvel,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
the magic lightning can't penetrate it, so they can't
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, the darkness is 100 miles in the other direction. I
Yeah,
thought that was kind of cool.
yeah. It kind of reminds me also of a. I think it came a little bit later, but the Marvel Comics villain Blackout, who would fight Ghost Rider.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, he was a vampire and an albino,
Hmm.
and he created this darkness, an
Hmm.
absence of light, where that was his power. And I don't know.
Yeah. Holy moly. They say this about 8 times. In
Well,
the 8
it's just
pages.
kind of one of the things that you always expect Billy Batson to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they either should have re- either really revamp it, get rid of Holy Moly, put them in the modern world, or keep them where they were and don't try to make it new. Doing it halfway just sucks.
I don't think having not or having Holy Moly doesn't ruin it. I mean,
Um,
it's one of those things you expect it from Captain Marvel.
yeah, but it's too much.
It did.
Take
I read the story too, and I'm just like, I'm used to Holy Moly, so it didn't
Mhm.
even. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. It doesn't. It is in the more modern depiction here.
Context.
It doesn't gel. It looks like an anachronism, as you just said earlier. So,
Okay. I mean, yeah,
but
nobody says Holy Moly.
I want to start saying that.
We should.
Yeah, be cool.
Okay.
All right. Mary Marvel is rescued by this guy. Looks like a Nordic god or a Viking god.
Yeah.
And she becomes Mary, a superhero, Mary Marvel.
Yeah, who rescues her from the darkness, and so she goes back into it and starts fighting the Darkling.
Yeah, who kind of kicks her butt. So she gives up. She gets out of there, and she goes to the Rock of Eternity.
Right, which is where the wizard Shazam, his spirit resides.
Hmm. And so she gets the living light. She brings it down.
Did we decide who was the Viking that he gave? It wasn't Mercury, but it was.
It was Thalfi.
Okay.
Thjalfi.
Okay.
Your pronunciation's way better than mine. But, so she comes and borrowed a cup of light, and that's what she says, and that's what does it.
Yeah, so she was able to dissipate the darkness and defeat the Darkling.
Yeah, and now the Darkling is in hell. So that's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
Not bad. Maybe they shouldn't even try to do as much as I like Captain Marvel. Maybe they should have just let that dog lie. Something.
Well, DC has fumbled pretty hard with the character. Although I do feel that these fairly serious backups in World's Finest are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a bad attempt. What do you?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was okay. It was an interesting little thing. I wish it was a little longer. Having someone say, "Oh, I'm evil," I would like to know why they're evil. Sometimes I don't need to know. Hey, they're Nazis. Okay, that's good enough.
Here's the thing. And when you have a backup and it's stuck at a certain parameter of pages that you're allowed to use, you have to make a decision. Am I going to serialize this, or am I going to? And maybe you don't have the option to do that. You got to have a standalone, so you got to winnow it down to the bare bones, and that's what's happened there.
Okay.
So let's talk about this next issue. which is World's Finest number 280 from June of 1982. And the lead story is called General Scar's Army of Crime, written by Kerry Burkett, penciled by Rich Buckler, and inked by Bob Smith.
Yeah, here we have Batman is
Unmasked
yeah,
by General Scar, Major Disaster, and Captain Cutlass,
and Colonel Sulphur.
who is not present but mentioned in the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't I thought it was weird that they all had these military names.
Well, they're in the military, I think.
No.
And,
Major Disaster and Captain Cutlass are not.
no, but I think General Scar was in the
Yeah.
at least he.
His whole plan is to take over a city, which is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
anyway,
He's starting the Army of Crime.
right, and so he got that must be it. That the theme he approached Major Disaster and those guys. So anyway,
Yeah.
Spencer and I just read a Green Lantern story with Major Disaster. So
Yeah. Oh man, I might. If I was in the Army Officer Corps, I might think of changing my name if I made Major.
yeah,
All right. He is. Batman is. Bruce Wayne is shown to be Batman, but they don't believe he's Bruce Wayne. They think that Batman was pretending to be Bruce Wayne, and which
so of course Batman's unmasked and nobody believes it.
mhm.
It's so ludicrous.
Yeah.
It's funny though.
Yeah. All right. Suppose they wanted Batman as Bruce Wayne to be captured, so Superman can follow him. Superman is following them and guessing there's a huge tidal wave that's going crazy, so he has to fix that. So now he can't find them anywhere. So they put Batman into a jail that cannot be broken out of, but actually it's pretty easy to break out of.
Okay.
Man, that's sort of. Yeah, there's this air vent above them that's about 6 feet high, so Batman figures out a way to get in there. Which, oh man, if I could design a better jail cell that no one could get out of.
And a better mousetrap.
Yeah, and people would come to my door.
Yeah. But there's a cool, the whole scene of Batman escaping is cool.
Yeah, it is. And so he's listening in. He hears about their awful plan. Their plan is just to. No, awful doesn't mean nasty.
I know what you mean.
But it's actually kind of lame. All right. They're kidnapping rich guys, get the money so they can buy in an auction weapons that Superman had that was stolen from him.
Yeah.
And so that's. Yeah.
Because they'll use the weapons. Oh, they got them from the weapons master.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Superman confiscated these from the weapons master.
Yeah.
And so they're going to get these and then take over a city.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So Batman is able to contact Alfred, and Superman's right there because
In the Batcave.
yeah, I don't see the dinosaur.
Well, it's behind him.
I know.
It's a big cave.
Yeah, indeed.
So Superman
Goes
runs
to the auction.
Yeah.
Of course, they tell Batman exactly where the auction is going to be held at.
Remember, Batman was eavesdropping.
Right, but they tell I would.
It's going to be on 29th Street at
right.
this address.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a comic book, so how else is
It
it
is a
find
comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, so the trickster is there.
Yeah.
And Superman kicks his butt.
But he flicks him, him with his little finger, and
Yeah,
that's it.
that's pretty great. I enjoyed that just the trickster was there because reasons.
Okay, so it's who is this guy here?
He's an
Oh,
auctioneer.
it's Colonel Sulphur
Oh.
with a duranium time bomb.
Oh, yeah. What is the duranium time bomb? It can freeze Superman in time or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or send him somewhere? It does something weird.
Yeah, I really. So Superman is trapped in a time tunnel or something.
Or a loop or something. And so Batman, who is now in battle with Captain Cutlass,
Mm-hmm.
who is ridiculous. He's a pirate-themed guy.
That was a good fight, though.
Yeah, it is. And he's got those cool pirate boots.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why they do it like that. I wonder.
Those are the coolest boots. Captain America has boots like that. Cyclops has boots like that. It's a good style of boot.
Yeah. So this is, I like this. Batman beats him up.
Yeah.
So
He
which I always
shaves off his mustache and takes his costume so he can go and disguise himself as Captain Cutlass.
and he disguises Captain Cutlass as Batman and brings him to General Scar and says, "Hey, give him a sedative, so he'll be knocked out."
Right.
Oh, it's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that. It was very clever. And so meanwhile, Superman's still trapped.
Mm-hmm.
And
so Batman's worried because he finds out that Superman is in a trap. So that's it.
Yeah, so we're left on a cliffhanger that we won't resolve.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about our Green Arrow backup. Let's see. This story is called Harmony and Discord, written by Joey Cavalieri, with art penciled by Trevor Von Eaton and inked by Larry Malstead.
Okay. There's this young lady, Laura, I believe, who joins a cult.
Uh-oh.
And I think she's friends with Green Arrow. And Green Arrow doesn't like the cult, so he follows them and finds out they're getting married.
Oh, yeah. There's they do these big mass weddings in the cult.
Yeah. There's a little bit of flashbacks, is that he goes to an anti-cult group.
Green Arrow?
Yeah, Green Arrow does. And the group is owned by the cult. And that has happened in real life.
Oh, right.
I think Cult Watch or something like that was bought by Scientology.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, it's sort of.
We want to be the best cult around, the biggest cult around.
All right. That's yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cults are scary. They're a big thing in the '70s. You don't hear about them as much. I remember that Hale-Bop.
That was like the last major cult story. I mean, and they were a very small cult.
Yeah.
Because the what were they called? The Heaven's Gate cult.
Yeah.
Their whole deal was, the guy that recruited him, he's asked people to we'll drop everything and leave everything behind and come with us now.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to do that.
Right.
So they had a very small group. Smarter cults, not that this is a good thing, but they kind of ingratiate you and kind of pull you slowly out of where you are, and you go with them. Okay.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just a sad thing. I met a bunch of. I've seen Hare Krishna and Moonies and all that, and just
the Moonies. We had in Oregon. We had the pink Rajneeshis.
Huh.
But who are the Moonies again?
Reverend Sun Myung Moon out of South Korea. And he's the one who married hundreds of people at one time.
Oh, okay.
And all these couples and all that stuff. And I don't know if he's still living or not.
I don't know.
Don't hear about him. You don't see them in airports like you did.
Are you talking about Moonies or the Hare Krishnas?
Any of them.
Oh, okay.
It used to be, if you watch the movie Airplane, there's a thing about all these cults giving you pamphlets and all that stuff.
Sure.
And that was a thing back then.
Wow.
But now, I haven't seen him in years. I think the Supreme Court or somebody says, you can get kicked out.
Yeah. Now, if you go on public transportation, I will see Christianity-based cults leave books or leaflets and on buses and things. But yeah.
Yeah. There's a small.
But I haven't met have you heard the news about Ra?
Yeah.
Man,
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah.
You tell me more.
Yeah. Come, follow Marduk, Slayer of Tiamat. You don't hear that anymore.
In Oregon City, there's this thing called the Kissing Church, where I think the men greet each other by kissing each other on the lips and all that stuff, which is not my cup of tea, but it's what's controversial about them. I'm not sure if it's a cult or just a religious sect or just, they could be correct. I don't know. But the deal is they don't allow their children to have any medical help assistance.
Oh, yeah, that's awful.
So, have you ever been to a graveyard that's really old, like a couple hundred years old.
Sure, and you see a lot of like,
Little babies and
yeah,
lambs and all that stuff. I went to my mother-in-law, of all things, is interested in it. So we went to one of their graveyards, and it's only about 20, 30 years old. And there's lots of infants and
yeah,
children graves. It's really sad.
yeah.
Although I don't know if I want the government to jump in and tell people what to do about that, but I
But
don't know.
the thing is, Jeff, it's one thing if you as an adult make a decision, I'm going to follow this spiritual path or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A child doesn't have any choice other
Yeah.
than what their parents tell them. So, and an infant, I'm sorry, it's child abuse. It's neglect,
So you
and
have
it's wrong.
circumcision?
No, I'm for it, because who wants to have that creepy dog dork?
Okay. Yeah, but some people. Okay. Yeah. Female circumcision is beyond the pale.
Yes,
so.
it is, because that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
and it's being done away with in a lot of countries, and I'm glad.
And now it's coming back in a lot of them too. So
but I had recently heard something somewhere about like a country who was real big on it. They were like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. I'm like, good, because that is barbaric.
I hope so. I hope they're just not saying that to get people off there.
But anyway, what's on with this cult?
All right, so they're marrying people, and it was funny is that they're marrying people, and everyone's wearing traditional wedding clothes.
Yeah, like really old school, like top hats and
Mm-hmm. And Laura's sassy, but she says, I like this, and I'm going to get married to this guy. But you don't know him. And so, well, we know each other because we're in this group. And the leader gets mad at Laura for bringing Green Arrow, which is kind of stupid.
And the leader expels her right on the spot from the cult.
Yeah, and that kind of breaks it here.
Yeah.
And which is like this is the first time someone's tried to get one of your people, and sort of kind of stupid on his part.
Well, right, but it's also this story. I think is it's about like, oh, look at cults. This is bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they try to ostracize you or whatever after they've ingratiated you and cut you off from everyone else you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you better stick with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that kind of.
so that takes up Laura.
Yeah.
And so she leaves.
Yeah.
But that's sort of okay.
Yeah. So we have a Hawkman backup,
Mm-hmm.
and the story is called "Now You See Him, Now You Don't." And
sees him. Is that how do you say that?
See him, because it. Damn it, the title is a play on words. There's an alien, and the name is CZE. Yeah, MM. Okay, but there's a popular catchphrase or thing. Now you see him, now you don't. So I just pronounced it like that.
I thought CZM. It was what it looks like it's pronounced.
Let's just move on.
Okay.
So anyway, here's the credits for this. You were such a headache sometimes.
I'm sorry.
Written by Bob Rozakis, penciled by Alex Saviuk, and inked by Frank Chiaramonte.
Okay, Hawkman is in this. What is this thing? It's the hyperspace. And he's in this ship, and they're stuck in hyperspace, and there's a bunch of aliens there. And it's pretty cool. You've seen a lot of these people before. Carnage Gore, and I haven't ever seen Veneer, the snake creature.
Sure. Oh, you've seen these characters before?
I've seen... Carnage Gore looks very familiar.
Well, I mean, just because I haven't seen it, that doesn't mean it's not been around before. So, anyway.
Yeah. And Shazam, or CM... is the captain, and there's a guy.
They're space pirates,
yeah,
and they're all different aliens.
And they just beat the hell out of poor Hawkman.
Yeah, there's one panel in here that really, actually, not just one. It really kind of reminds me of Carmine Infantino and his Flash stuff. Just the way some of these aliens are drawn in their especially on the profile. But I don't know.
Okay, so
which you know what, it makes sense because Alex Saviuk was penciling the Flash following Carmine Infantino. I just realized that. I think that's right. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so Hawkman is captured and he meets another prisoner. So they're the prisoner says no way out, so they brought food, but the prisoner looks at the person bringing food and says, "Oh, what a lovely girl!" And he's an alien and she's an alien girl. Hawkman sees
Shayera.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Mavis Trent, or Superman. So the creature tells you, lets you see what you want to see.
Right. Right.
So Hawkman beats him up.
Okay.
And then he starts beating up other people. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I enjoy Hawkman. He's cool. He kicks the crap out of all these space pirates who had held him captive.
Yeah, and that's all it does. It's a bunch of fighting, and then
there's a cliffhanger, but he's gonna get away and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool if they don't.
And he was enslaved forever. And they never talked about him again. Can you imagine?
It would be such a shock. Now that would be, now that would be something else.
Oh.
All right, The Secret of the Freeman Brothers.
Yes, it's our Shazam story here. And The Secret of the Freeman Brothers, written by E. Nelson Bridwell, penciled by Don Newton, and inked by Frank Chiaramonte. Now, this is an interesting and important story. In the Golden Age, a fellow named Mac Raboy drew the adventures of Captain Marvel Jr. Many of them. Okay, he's the classic artist on that book. At another publisher, I think Quality Comics, if I'm wrong, please somebody correct me, Kid Eternity appeared. Okay. Now, the Quality Comics characters, of course, were acquired by DC later. And then later, the Fawcett characters, the Marvel family. And so DC decided to kind of combine the origins of Captain Marvel Jr. and Kid Eternity. And that's what this story is about. And so he's tied to the Marvel family.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, he is kind of part of them.
Yeah.
So.
Do you like the way Captain Marvel's drawn?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, you like his face? I like the original so much better.
Well, it's very cartoony, but they're trying something different. Right. And this works also. It's not ultra modern, but it's... They're trying to find a way to, do Captain Marvel stories in the context of regular DC. Because I think when they revived him and tried to do it very juvenile and Golden Agey style in the early 70s, it was a misstep and a mistake. Because people didn't want that. Captain Marvel didn't have a chance to evolve as a character. He hadn't been published in almost 20 years.
Right.
And so, just going right back to where they left off, well, comics have moved forward. So that was not the right thing. And this is kind of this is probably about what Captain Marvel would be like in 1982.
Right.
And it works pretty good. So.
Okay. All right. Kid Eternity has this guy, the Keeper.
Yeah.
Which only he can see.
Right.
Looks kind of like Curly Joe in a white turtleneck.
Yeah. And the Keeper gives him ideas and helps him and guides him on his adventures. Now, Kid Eternity, if you recall, he's a kid and he's a ghost, and he can call on any character from mythology or literature or history to help him out on his adventures. You remember that one where he called on Javert from Les Miserables to help him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So they go talk to Shazam,
the wizard.
Yeah, and they explain the story of what happened. Why did Kid Eternity? Kid Eternity is... Oh, this is complicated. Can you do this, or you want me to?
It's not that complicated. Kid Eternity and Freddie Freeman were brothers. Okay, and they had two grandfathers, their maternal and their paternal grandfathers, okay, who happened to be friends. Now, they were orphans, and the grandfathers each agreed to take one of the boys and take care of them. Okay? Now, the grandfathers were both killed by Captain Nazi. I can't remember how. One was a sailor or something, and I don't know. But anyway, Uh,
I don't know how the other one's killed.
yeah, but the second one, the one that is Freddy's, or that Freddy lived with, was also killed by Captain Nazi. Captain Marvel was fighting Captain Nazi on the wing of a plane. Captain Nazi falls into the sea. The grandfather fishes him out and is promptly killed by Captain Nazi.
Yeah.
And he hits and wounds Freddy with an oar, and Captain Marvel comes and he saves Freddy and takes him to see the wizard Shazam, and Shazam gives him the ability to share some of that Marvel power, so he's Captain Marvel Jr. Now, Freddy was supposed to die that day, but his brother, I think they're twins, wasn't. And he died in Freddy's place. And so when he went to the Pearly Gates, they made a goof, and so in exchange for the mistake, they sent him back to Earth and they gave him all these powers.
Yeah.
And
to
the keeper
make up for them. Yeah.
Yeah, and the keeper goes and guides him.
Yeah, this is kind of a takeoff on let's see. Here Comes Mr. Jordan, which was early 40s film.
What is that
Claude
about?
Rains.
Oh, I love Claude Rains.
I think he's a boxer, and he dies before his time. So this angel takes him back, gives him into the body of this rich guy,
Okay.
and he can. And so the rich guy says, "Oh, I'll get beefed up and become a boxer again." And everyone thinks it's crazy.
Okay.
But so they try to get him back to another life to make up for the life he lost, and this was remade in the '70s. Heaven Can't Wait. With Warren Beatty.
Yeah.
But the original was better. But Heaven Can't Wait's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware of that one.
And there's Down to Earth with Chris Rock.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so.
Sounds great.
But
I mean, I like Chris Rock.
I do too.
But
Yeah, but it's a cool story, and so that's how this happened. So they explained that I'm going to be your guardian, and so everybody said, I don't know, Mr. Keeper seems kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He has kind of this interesting relationship also with the wizard Shazam. And so the Marvel family gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I noticed Uncle Dudley isn't part of these stories. At least the two that we just read, but
yeah.
Oh well.
And go see you in the funny pages.